one of the topics was the Pledge of Allegiance. One thing that the American Legion emphasizes is proper recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. There is no comma in the phrase, one nation under God. So you all are you're reciting it like you're still in elementary school. One nation under God, which is incorrect grammatically. So we're going, even though this is not a situation where we're going to normally do the Pledge of Allegiance, because we will do it tonight for our assembly. WVU President Benson will be here, so I want us to look good doing it. So we're going to practice right now, very quickly. So I would like everybody to stand and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance in a correct, grammatically correct way. And that also means, by the way, that your hand is over your heart. Your right hand is over your heart. That also applies when we have the national anthem, which will be tonight at the assembly. Remember when we sang the national anthem that first night because we didn't have a band? And then last night we had the band and then nobody sang. Oh, well, that's probably why you got selected as your party chair. All right, so we're all going to sing when we have the national anthem played tonight at the assembly. So please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And now, with a loud and thunderous welcome to our director, Robbie Robinson.
Thank you, guys. What we're going to do here for the next few minutes is we're going to talk about that piece of cloth right there. How important it is. Well, to some, it's pretty important. To some, it may not be. But we're going to talk about it anyway. We're going to start out with a thing. It's in your manual, but you don't have to get it out. You don't have to look anything. But I'm just going to recite it here. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy, a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and indivisible, established upon the principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for what Americans, patriots, sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, support its Constitution, obey its laws, respect its flag, and defend it against all enemies. You guys know what that is? Anybody? Nobody knows what that is? That's the American Creed. 100 years ago, when I was in school, we used to say that every morning before we started the first class. I don't know if you guys don't do that anymore, right? You do the Pledge of Allegiance, right? But not that. Okay. We did both. So that's in your manual. You'll see that passage in your manual. So you can look that over if you wish. What we're going to do today is talk about all the flags you see up here. We're going to talk about some rules for the flag and do's and don'ts for the flag. Then we're going to open it up to you all's questions if you have any. Okay? So, my question to you guys, first off, is our flag set up correctly here? You guys can talk, right? Okay. So, again, are our flags set up correctly? Who said no? Who says no? What's wrong with them? Okay, I can live with that. That's okay. But that doesn't mean they're not set up correctly. That doesn't mean like they're not in order, okay? You're right. We can turn this around. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Who said yes, they were set up correctly? Nobody. Well, how do we set up?
Gentleman right here in the front.
Why? What do you say that they're set up correctly for? Tell me why.
I would just assume, I feel like the FBI police that set them up yesterday would set them up incorrectly.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm talking about these two as well as all of those. So, my question here is, are they set up correctly? Well, my next question is, how do you set up flags? What's the proper order that flags go in? Yes, sir.
The U.S. flag is always separate and above other flags.
Okay.
And the state flag is normally separate again. And then the military flags often.
Okay, okay. So basically what you're saying, the flags are set up in order of precedence. So that would mean, which is the most important one up here? That one, right? Okay. And then let's go over here to these, and they're in a certain order. So what would that tell you? Yes, sir.
It's based off how old the services are.
Okay, when they were established, correct. So, over here you have the Army, which was our first service. Then the Marine Corps. Can you handle the Marines, Bob?
I think so.
Okay. Then we have the Navy, was next. Then the premier service, the United States Air Force. Bob. Then our newest branch of the service, the Space Force. And then the Coast Guard is our last service. Okay? Then the next group of flags that's in this row are Legion flags. So the first one in there, of course, would be the Legion, the American Legion as a whole. The next would be our auxiliary, which is our auxiliary of people who join that part of the organization. The next is the SAL, which is the Sons of the American Legion. And our last is our newest group, is the American Legion Riders. Now, as you can see, the next flag has all of our emblems on it at once. And what you just witnessed, we call that the American Legion family. All of us together working. That's the American Legion family. Is there one more? The last one is our newest Legion flag, which is... What? Good catch, Bob. Okay? And the last one over there is why you're here. It's the Boise State flag. Okay? So that is in order of precedence for how we set up flags. Now, who can tell me what half-mast means? Yes, sir.
We need people to stand, you know, where you are. And
Jeremy Farland, Braxton Cabin.
Okay.
It means the flag is raised halfway in a memorial, something or something.
In the memorial. So we only raise that on a memorial for who?
Important people or figures.
Okay. Half-mast, when you do that, he's absolutely correct in everything he said. However, with half-mast, you have to remember when you're doing that, you have to take the flag all the way to the top of the pole and then bring it down. You just don't go up halfway. When you take it down, you do the same thing. You go all the way up and then back down. Okay? Now, who can put the U.S. flag at half-mast? Yes, sir. The President of the United States. Is there anybody else that can put the flag at half-mast? Yes, sir. Governor of Maryland can do that over here? Okay. The governor of his own state can put the flag at half-mast in his state only. So Governor Morrissey could say we had some National Guard soldiers that were killed overseas and we're putting our flag and the U.S. flag at half-mast. He can do that inside the state of West Virginia. Okay. When you see flags hanging on a pole or something or on a porch, and it doesn't look too good, that's called unserviceable. That means the flag is unserviceable. I want to show you a flag here to see who would want to fly this flag over their house. Who would want to fly this over their house? Anybody? Why wouldn't we fly it over? Yes.
Jeremiah Hall's not happening. I just believe that if someone doesn't have the means to repair said flag or service it, and they want to show allegiance to their country, I think it is all right.
In that condition.
I personally believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, there's a code that the U.S. has. It's called the U.S. Flag Code. And the U.S. Flag Code says if the flag is torn, ripped, faded, all these other things, you should not fly it. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but there are organizations such as the American Legion that if you request a flag from them, you will get one. Okay? So that flag is considered unserviceable, and we should not fly it. It really bothers me when I'm driving down the road and I look over in someone's yard and there's a flag there and it's ripped to shreds, faded and all that. And if I could, I would stop at every house to change it. But, sometimes we can't do that. But there are flags available to answer your question. If someone can't afford it or can't fix it, we can get you a new one. So, I want to move back to the half-mast thing here. Bob, take the black streamer. Have you ever seen a flagpole that has no string or cord on it to raise and lower the flag? Well, how do you suppose you would put that at half-mast? The flagpoles, go ahead. Well, on a stationary pole, you can't really tip it. I mean, one on your porch, maybe you could do that, but not one on a straight pole. So the ones up here by our tomb that we have here don't have a string, some of them. So those ones that don't have the string, we have to figure out a way to do that. Well, this black streamer that is there has been put into flag code to say if the flag is at half-mast, that is on the flag. So if you see a black streamer flying on the flag, then that means it's at half-mast. And they didn't bring it down because maybe that pole wouldn't allow them to do that, or whichever, okay? Now, there's two different types of flags. There is a nylon flag, and there is a cotton flag. And they're used for specific things. The cotton flag is used primarily indoors. Because if you take that outside in the wind and the rain, it would rip up pretty quickly. Now, the nylon flag is much sturdier and can take the weather much better. So that's the one you would use outside. So, now I'm going to talk real quick about these little flags you see up here on the table. There's a blue star and a gold star. Does anybody know what this flag is?
Over
Okay.
here, Robbie.
Yes, sir.
Charles Rentelli from Marion. Judging by some of my research, wouldn't it be if you have a specifically sun from
correct. It's anyone who is actively serving from a family, they can put that in their window to depict that they have a relative or son or daughter that is serving. Hmm? Who?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Henry Smith, Randolph County. Is the gold one for Gold Star families where you lose someone that is actively serving?
That's correct. The gold one is a Gold Star family, which means they've lost a relative in battle, okay? So, this thing in the middle, does anyone know what that is? That has the flag on it? Nobody has any idea what that is? That is actually a grave marker. Not a tombstone, just a grave marker. If you have a relative or someone you know that has passed away, and you want to honor them as a veteran, you can take that and put by the grave and add a flag on certain holidays. Now, there are some cemeteries that will not allow you to keep it there very long. So you have to watch that, but that's what that is for. Somebody have a question? No? Okay. So, let's bring up your questions. What questions do you guys have about the flag? Yes, sir.
Amari Knights, Gilbert Academy. You mentioned that there was two materials for indoor and outdoor. Why wouldn't we just use nylon with cotton and stuff like that for outside?
Well, the nylon would be used outside. The cotton is inside. They just make them out of different material. And but we want to specify that the cotton one would not last.
Thank you.
Question. Did that answer your question, sir?
I want to ask you a question. Do this. Other than the material, you feel anything different between these two flags? They're the same number of stars. They're two different materials, yes, but did this flag feel any different to you? It is a trick question. This is an interment flag. This is the flag that is draped over a coffin. And this outside, outdoor flag. And yes, it was a trick question, but there is truly a difference in the feel, and it's not the material.
I'm gonna take a stab at what you were trying to say or ask. I believe that's a nylon flag, and you wanted to know why you wouldn't fly a nylon flag inside. You have the ability to fly either inside.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Smith, Mountaineer Academy. My question is, can you explain the process, like, of getting rid of a flag that is dangerous?
That is damaged. Well, funny you should mention that.
Question, Robbie, what was the question?
Can you say it louder?
What is the process for getting rid of a flag that has been damaged for like a small amount of time?
That's funny you should ask that, because tomorrow evening, you're going to see what happens to one of those flags that is unserviceable, as we talked about. That's going to be a flag retirement ceremony you're going to see tomorrow evening. That is how it's determined. If it needs to be retired because of it's ripped, faded, torn, unserviceable, that's when you retire them. Now, you can do that in bulk. You can have like 10 flags to do all at once, or you can do individuals. It just depends on what ceremony you want. The American Legion has its own ceremony that they do for a flag retirement. And it's inspected by certain people to say that it is unserviceable. Okay. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, like, can anyone do it, or is it like
Well, as long as it's in a dignified ceremony, anyone can do it. I mean, you can't just take it outside and throw it on the barbecue. No, but I mean, it would have to be in a dignified ceremony that you would use to do that with. Okay? Yes, sir.
Stuart Hollenberg from Kevin Center. When you retire a flag, isn't it folded into like the standard triangle like those are up there, and then it is placed over the fire?
Yes.
In a dignified way?
Yes, that is correct. It's folded up like it was like you do all flags, and then it's put into the fire to be purged. Now, there are certain groups that do things differently. How many Boy Scouts are in here? Have you ever seen a retirement ceremony for your Boy Scout troop? What do they do? Place them? Okay. Nothing else? Okay. I have seen some Boy Scout units where they go in and they cut the Union out of the flag and put them together and then burn it. I don't know what the significance of that is. When the Legion does it, which the whole flag is folded in the triangle properly, the ceremony is conducted and it's placed in the fire like the gentleman said over here. So, okay.
Question over there.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy Farling, Braxton. Another difference is whenever a large amount of them are in a scout retirement ceremony, at least, but the first one is folded up properly, and the rest of them are held in a group of four.
Oh,
put
okay.
in the fire, so they can be done at a time.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just vast Webster County, what's the difference between a flag with the gold around the edges versus one that doesn't have gold around the edges?
Normally, the gold around the edges, like we talked about this one, right? That is for indoor. That is an indoor flag only. That one would not fly outside because the gold would rip off really quick. And you'll see that some have white, some have gold, and it's just an indoor flag. It wouldn't be used for outside. And they come in all various sizes, just like other flags. Yes, sir.
Just another panhandle. Is it okay to carry a flag like on your chest with your right hand over your left, or your right hand under your left, like on your chest? 'Cause I've seen everybody here carry it like this, behind.
It can be done either way, as long as it's in a dignified manner. I mean, you don't want to take it, shove it under your arm and walk off the parade field. I mean, like this or like this is perfectly fine. But there is specific ways that you do it when you're passing it to someone else. I mean, if I was coming up and they were going to take it from me here, I would put it out and do it like you said here. They would take it, then I would salute. I mean, that would be the proper way to move it from one person to another. They're going to demonstrate here for you. So that's how you would hand it off to that. So, does that answer it? Okay. Yes, sir.
Parker Curry, Randolph. I know a lot of people that like use them, put them on like the top of their roof in their room and stuff. Is that proper? Is that respectful?
You mean painted?
No, I mean like a tapestry wise.
No, I don't think that's appropriate. A cloth flag is not to be used as a backdrop or a wall covering or a tablecloth or something like that. Now, I know people that on the side of their barn over in Taylor County, they've got the flag painted on there. That's their choice if that's what they want to paint that. As long as the flag is depicted properly, that would be okay. But an actual cloth flag or tapestry flag, that's not appropriate. No.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Logan Miller, Webster Cottage. When were the smaller red and white flags first put into use?
Those came out after World War II.
World War II.
Yes. And they went away for a while, and then the Legion brought them back because of all the wars we've been in since. So that's where they came back. But that's when it started.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Connor from Lewis Cabin. What's the name of the 5 sides of the flag?
Name of the 5 sides.
The size of the flag. I know one is the storm, which is the smallest, and then we have the garrison, which is the largest.
Well, the Garrison is the largest, and there's others. To be honest with you, I don't know all of those. I would know where to look for them, to find them, but I don't know all of them. Sorry. In the flag code, it tells us what those are. Yes, sir.
Nicholas Hott from the Lewis County Cabinet. If a flag is deemed unserviceable, but can't properly do the ceremony at the time, are you still expected to store it in the same way that you would a serviceable flag?
Yes, you would still fold it, put it away, and know that that one needs destroyed or retired when you're able to do it. Yes. Yes, sir.
Carson Lisley, Lewis Cabin, what is the proper procedure when a flag touches the ground?
Okay, the flag code, I keep talking about this flag code to you guys. Did you all ever know that existed? Okay. It was made up by about 68 different organizations years ago. American Legion was one of them. And the reason they put it in effect was everybody was taking care of the flag in a different way. So they wanted one set of rules for everybody to follow to take care of this. So that's why the flag code came about. Now, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
My question was, what is the proper procedure if a flag touches the ground?
If it touches the ground. The flag code says it's not supposed to touch anything beneath it. Now, sometimes we have to use common sense here. I mean, sometimes there's an accident. We're taking the flag off the stage, it falls and it touches the ground. I mean, we're not going to race out and burn or destroy or retire that flag because we made a mistake. I mean, the flag code says anything beneath it. I understand that. But we would be spending buku money to buy flags for those little things. Now, if I see someone out here throw it in a mud puddle or run over it with their car, that's grounds to have a retirement ceremony for that flag. So we just have to pick and choose how we're going to do this, but there are limits of what can be done to the flag before we have to retire it. Yes, sir.
Logan Miller, Western Cottage. When are the yellow kind of golden eagle caps for the flags to be used? I noticed there's some on the American flag and the West Virginia state flag behind you.
Oh, there are different types of eagles that are used. There are standard ones that are like those. The U.S. flag should have one on it. I mean, you can also, if you notice, all of our other flags over here just have a spear on the top of it. There are ones that say American Legion. There are ones that say SAL, Sons of the American Legion, Auxiliary, that you can put on the top of their own flag. But the only one that goes up there is either the spear or the eagle on the U.S. flag. So, yes, sir.
Bouncing off the Charles Ritelli, very bouncing off the tapestry question. I've seen in my school, my old school, and most of the schools I've been in the gymnasium and the auditorium where they can't have a flagpole due to safety concerns, they do have it tapered up onto the wall.
Well, that's acceptable. His question was, do you put it on a roof, a cloth flag up on a roof? In a gymnasium, in a building, in an arena, where it's hanging from the ceiling or on the wall correctly, then that is okay. Do your thing. They're going to show you certain ways to hold the flag. I mean, if we were at a gymnasium and we saw a flag on the wall, and it was, this is the wall back here, and the flag was straight across the wall, is that correct?
No, sir.
What's wrong with it? Why is it backwards? Excuse me? Union has to be on the right side. That's correct.
Okay. Now, here's the question. How many of you have walked into Walmart, walked through the door, and you look up, it's like, they got the flag up backwards. Do they? Very good. Okay. The thing is that when you display the flag in this manner, it is displayed where it is viewed by the most public. So at this point, you all are the most public. Okay? Now, if we had this flag not on the wall, but hanging out this way a little bit on the back, that flag would be displayed this way, these being our front doors, because it is going to be viewed by the most public. Anybody coming in from those doors are going to look up and say, that flag's backwards. Well, it's not, because of the wall, the outside public cannot see that. The inside public can. That's why, and you're absolutely correct, it's a matter of perspective of how you look at that. Because there's many times you can go in and do that. Now, you're saying this way is correct, right? Is this way correct? Why not? Okay? If I had just the flag, this would be incorrect. But because it is on the pole, that can be correct. This would be more likely the way to do it, but because it is on the pole, this way is correct. Okay? Again, using the word over here, the perspective. You need to look at those things. Okay? If we have two flags, okay, if we had a West Virginia flag that same size, and we wanted to show both of them together, and you are looking at it. American flag, West Virginia flag, correct? Now, if we want to cross the flags, we want to make things look a little more flashy. We're going to cross the flags. If this was the West Virginia flag, is that correct? It is, because it's on the pole. Yes, it looks backwards, but because this is the origination of the pole, this would be correct. This is better, but that would be correct because of the pole.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How would you put the black ribbon up on the flag if it's stuck to
Well, you would have to take the pole down to do that. For the ones that don't have a string, or if it's stuck, or you can't get to the top, unless you had equipment to get you to the top, one of the two. But that's the only way you could do that. That's why the parts with the string or the cord on them are much better, because you can change if necessary if the flag becomes unserviceable or whatever. So, but that's the only way you could do it. You'd have to take the pole down. Okay? Yes, sir.
Tyler Joyce, Braxton Cottage. What does the gold tassel represent that's attached to the eagle on the top?
The gold. Oh, these?
Yeah.
That is merely decoration on flags. It really has no specific meaning, but it just adds to the flag. Okay? Yes, sir.
Dennis Holcomb from Sonoma County. So back on the point of the flag without strings, but I have to ask, how do you lower a flagpole like that without having the flag like drop on the ground?
Well, you'd have to have more than one person, and you'd just have to be careful not to do that. And again, you have to remember, we talked about having an accident possibly that it touches the ground versus deliberately putting it on the ground or making it touch the ground. So that you just have to be careful when you do that. Yes, sir.
Cabin. What are the rules for? I have two questions actually. What are the rules for like flags and like clothing and hats? And my other question is, if like a family member loses like their son in combat, aren't they allowed to half-mast their own flag? Or
I would have to, again, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the rule to that second question. I would have to call and ask or find out, research it to find that question out. And your first one, repeat your first one again?
What are the rules for like flags on like shirts?
Shirts and hats.
Like hats and stuff.
An actual flag cannot be put on a shirt.
I mean, just like a.
No, I know what you mean. I cannot take that flag off the pole, put it on my back, and sew it to my shirt. That can't happen. Now, there are people that make flags on shirts, print them on there. There are patches that are put on. That kind of thing, we have trouble controlling. The patches are done as long as they're presented right on your sleeve. Because some people get patches and they got the union facing the wrong way depending on what sleeve they put it on. So the patches are okay. The military and police wear that all the time, you'll notice. But actual taking a flag and sewing it to a garment is not correct to do. Putting it on napkins and tablecloths, I don't think you should do it, but people do it all the time. You're not supposed to replicate the flag on those kind of things. So, it's a catch-22, so to speak. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I may have missed this. I'm Kelly Greathouse from Pinal County. Why do we fold the flag with the stars facing out? I may have missed this. Why do we do that?
The way it was folded is supposed to look like a hat of George Washington, one of the cocked hats that he wore. The stars out is to cover the stripes embodied by 50 states. There's a flag ceremony that you're going to hear on Friday that's going to explain all that. Why we fold from the stripes to the stars, because the stars are uppermost and it reminds us of our motto of "In God We Trust," all this stuff. You'll hear that Friday. I mean, I bet that's probably not a good answer for you, but that's what we have.
At least it's an answer.
Okay, it's an answer. Anyone else? Over there. Where? Yes, sir. Well, there is a flag that is very, very damaged. It flies in the Smithsonian Institute, and it's got cannon holes in it and everything else, and it's hanging up on the wall. However, to answer your question, you would do the best you can to get it folded correctly to put it in a retirement ceremony. We have a couple flags from our Legion post that we had a retirement ceremony for. I mean, every stripe was ripped in half. It was very hard to get it folded, but you do the best you can to retire them dignified. Okay? How much more time we have, Matt?
We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
So you can register, is there any type of meeting to have like tips on the top of certain flags? Like those sharp spears?
Those are called spears. And you can, like I was saying, you can get them, like the Army flag could have the Army emblem on top. The Navy could have the Navy, Marines, that kind of thing. But normally, for normal parades and inside photos, that's what you get on top. Yes, sir.
Why is it that the Coast Guard flag comes after the Air Force and Space Force when it was founded for?
Because the Coast Guard is not specifically a branch of the service. It is only a branch of the service when activated by the Secretary of the Navy. But it's considered a branch of the service, maybe. But it's not a true branch. I don't know why they put the Space Force in front of it, but I think that's the reason.
Question here.
Yes, sir.
Nick Renaldo from Randolph County. What do you do if you drop it in the mud and it gets dirty?
Well,
What'd you do with it?
what did we say we did? What did we say we do with it?
He just told me to ask that question.
He didn't explain that part.
If it drops in the mud, because you threw it in the mud, then you would retire that flag. If you dropped it, picked it up and said, oh my goodness, I dropped this, how do I fix this? And you wash it and it comes out the same colors it was, the same red, the same white, the same blue, it's the same size, it's not ripped, it doesn't have a big stain in the middle of it, and it can still be serviceable, then you're okay. But again, that's the common sense thing that comes in. Because some people would say, I dropped it, I have to burn this. Well, like I said, if we burnt this every time maybe something bad happened to it here, dropping it or whatever, we'd be spending money like nobody's business to keep flags in there. So, yes, sir.
Henry Smith from Randolph. Kevin, you said wash the flag. What's the proper way to wash it?
Well, you can wash it just like you wash your blue jeans, actually. But again, it comes back to the same question we ask here. As long as it comes out of that washing machine, the same color, same dimensions, everything, no fades, nothing like that, it's still serviceable. In Taylor County, we have a Legion lot, that we have 50 flags on it that we put up during patriotic holidays and throughout the year. We wash them every time we take them down after they've been up. So we just have to make sure that they'll stay the same, clean and all that. So you can wash it, but you have to make sure it's still serviceable.
Last two questions.
Yes, sir.
Noah Wood, Braxton. How do we treat flags that are on like clothing items and whatnot?
Well, there shouldn't be an actual flag
Like,
on.
if you have like a shirt and it has like the American flag on it.
Well, that's what we were talking about here. That's not a real flag. It's a depiction of the flag, which you have to be careful what you do, but you cannot put a real flag on there.
What's the
The distinction is it's an actual flag patch, a flag like that one, a flag like this little one up here. That's an actual flag. A patch that you buy to put on your uniform or to put on a sleeve is different. Someone that prints it on a shirt that says USA, that's the different story too. So, yes, sir.
All right, Ben Supple, Webster Cottage. So where would Merchant Marines fall into the order
Well,
of flags?
I think the Merchant Marines would come after the Marine Corps or before the Marine Corps.
They're not in the military.
They're not necessarily considered DOD. So I'm getting word over here that it would come after the Coast Guard. Yes. I want to introduce you guys to our National Vice Commander, Mr. Steve Wiseman. He's sitting over here. Sir, did you have anything to add to anything here?
No, you did good. The only thing I will add is, when you guys asked about, there's one thing that nobody asked. And Robbie answered a question on our Coast Guard, why it's after the Air Force. Because yes, it was established before the Air Force, but as he said, it's not part of the Department of Defense. And what did he say after that? It's part of the Department of Defense if what?
Activated.
If they're activated, okay? Then, if they're activated, does it stay in that position? That's the question nobody asked. The answer is no. It gets moved, because now it's part of the Department of Defense. So where do you think it would get moved?
In front of the Air Force.
After the Navy, okay? Because the Coast Guard was 1890. Right, okay. So it's after the Navy. It gets placed after there. Other than that, you guys did great. No, that was great.
Thank you, sir. Well, I just have, I just want to say, I know we may have answered some of your questions. Some of you may have other questions that didn't want to ask. But I just want to let you know there's a lot of people that sacrificed for that piece of cloth. There's a lot of people that did things for that so you could sit in these chairs today. So when you go through your senior year and you go to a football game and you see half of your student body over here playing games or not standing or not putting your hand on your heart, don't get violent, but just kind of say, hey, shouldn't you be standing up? Shouldn't you have your hand on your heart? Hey, dude, take your hat off. You know, that's what we'd like you to do or get out of this while we're here. Respect the flag, because without that, you probably wouldn't be sitting in these chairs. So, we got, Luke, are we ready? We're going to play the 6 service songs for you, just so you can hear them. I don't know, some of you might already know them. United States Army. Okay, guys, thank you. I want you to remember one thing, how important that piece of cloth is. Make sure you have other folks in your school and you take care of it. Thank you very much for your attention.
There's a change to the schedule from locations. Federalists, you had to move up all the way to the West Virginia building this morning. This afternoon, you get to stay here. Instead, the Nationalists are going to move up there. So counselors, I need your help. Be prepared out there to take the Nationalists up to the West Virginia building on dismissal. You are dismissed.